Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast. This is your place for all things automotive, the award-winning In Wheel Time car talk show. Just ahead, what manufacturers and dealers need to do to survive in this rapidly changing automotive marketplace. Mr. Mars has This Week in Auto History, Jeff has the racing calendar, and I'll get you caught up on the stories making automotive news headlines, all just ahead. Howdy. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars over there in Neaterville. We always need more Jeff Zekin sitting next to me, along with vacationing engineer David Ainsley up in the UP of Michigan.
Teeth are chattering up there.
Yeah, about an hour ago, it's 55 degrees up there. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday morning.
Long underwear with him up there.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, it's not quite long underwear weather.
Not quite.
He's buttoning up the cabin for its winter hibernation, because it won't be long now. Believe it or not, even though we're roasting in 90-degree heat down here in Houston, Texas.
He's going to have drifts of 4 feet in next week.
And a lake, was it Lake Huron? I think it's Lake Huron that's going to be frozen solid. So he's pulling up the water line out of the lake and buttoning up the cabin this weekend. So he'll be back with us next weekend, actually, for our big remote broadcast.
At the Bears.
At the Bears over at Spring Branch, the former site of the Spring Branch High School over there. On
Museum,
Westview.
all that good stuff.
Yeah, all the stuff.
The Bears.
The Bears. All right. Our next guest this morning is Shannon Pinto. He is the Vice President of Statistical Surveys at Trader Interactive. Shannon, good morning to you, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, guys. Really appreciate you taking the time today.
Well, you know, you look like a stat guy. Let me ask you this. Do you keep up with stats in football, like professional football?
Not as much as I do on the power sports, RV, and other sides of the business here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once a stat guy, always a stat guy across the board, in my opinion. But what do I know?
Yeah.
You know, I've got a kind of a stats daughter, astrophysicist and all that. So I can kind of relate, and I hear where you're coming from, and certainly lots of respect for you. So tell me about Trader Interactive. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so Trader Interactive is the leading marketplace for non-automotive listings. We have a marketplace for RVs. We have a marketplace for power sports, specifically cycle trader, equipment, boat, marine. The division that I look at under Trader Interactive is Statistical Surveys. And what we do is we pull together information from all over the US and Canada and from the DMVs, and we're able to really understand what the registrations are across the country, and we package it up, and we're able to kind of give dealers, OEMs, suppliers, banks, what's happening in the industry that they can make better decisions.
Give me an example. For instance, let's use an 18-foot ski boat, runabout, open bow, ski well in the middle of it. Give me an example of something like that. Is that a big seller?
Well, it's hard for me to say right now because I haven't looked at that, but we can get into at the zip code level exactly what is selling for that type of boat across the country, right? So you think about if you want to use that information for marketing, if you want to use that for planning, if you want to use it for whatever you want on the dealer side of things, on the manufacturer side of things, if you want to look at leasing or what kind of investment options you want with banking and things like that, all that information is there for you to use. So with your particular example, I'd have to go and look at the information, but we have it across the country, but down to a zip code level as well.
Would you look at it from that type of description, or would you need something more along like a brand name, like a Ski Nautique or something more generic like Don was talking about?
No, we can look at it down to a make and model level, right? And we can go down to the length of the boat. If you're looking at an RV as an example, we can get down pretty granular in terms of, does it have slide outs? Does it have, how many people does it sleep? So all that information we can kind of get and compile that and put it out there for people.
So you guys are kind of like the Kelley Blue Book of power sports.
So,
Well, yeah, kind of. KBB has their need for things like that, but we are giving a lot more information compared to a Kelly Blue Books, right? In terms of registrations and things like that, in terms of what's happening in the market. And then what's interesting with the Trader Interactive piece is we know exactly what people are searching for and what are they clicking on, how are they interacting with that inventory on the marketplace, and we can combine both those things with the statistical surveys registration to give a really interesting rounded view of what's happening in the market.
So you make your money from, let's say, for instance, a water sports outlet here in Houston, maybe down at the Bay or Lake Conroe or something like that. So if I really want to narrow my inventory down to what is actually selling in my zip code, you supply that information to me.
We can, and look, some dealers look at multiple states. They might want to expand in there. They might be in bordering states. So we can give them that information to make better decisions. Like what are people buying? What are they looking for? What are they not looking for? Do you have it in your inventory mix? You take that up a couple layers up, and we can do the same thing for a manufacturer nationally, but also getting down to a zip code level as well. So that's pretty powerful stuff.
Are you here in Houston?
No, SSI is based in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
And Trader Interactive is in Virginia Beach.
The reason I say that is we have the Auto Boative Show here in Houston once a year in January, and they combine the auto shows with all the marine folks. So they divide the venue up half and half. Could you get statistics or maybe support that type of venue with your analytical stuff?
Absolutely. I mean, we service a bunch of different verticals outside of automotive, and getting a sense in terms of what's happening now. In terms of listings and what are people looking for and what are they searching, all that information can be generated and provided.
I'm going to show my ignorance here because I'm not really too familiar with, let's just say, a dealer that sells multiple models, brands of boats, and mainly recreational stuff. I'm not talking about the great big commercial stuff, but I'm talking about recreational stuff. And so I've got an inventory, and I buy from manufacturers, probably a half a dozen of them. So I can really pick and choose from the manufacturers what I want to carry based on what is selling in my general area of Texas.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. And that's where we work with dealers to go in eyes wide open to really understand what's happening in your market, right? Is new selling well? Is pre-owned selling well? How do you want to diversify your inventory? How do you want to market to them? Because we're also able to understand the demographic profile of who is purchasing things in your particular area. So you combine that inventory strategy with a marketing plan, you can really speak to the audience in terms of who is buying what and where and when, right?
So do you have for instance, like an auto trader, they mainly focus on automotive. Do you have a publication, whether it's online or in paper, that you guys supply this information to?
Yeah, I mean, because Stat Surveys is part of Trader Interactive, we're tightly coupled with their marketplace. So we have Cycle Trader, we got RV Trader, we got Boat Mart. So we're able to really share information with both sides of the business to really get a rounded view. And if you're a dealer, you can understand what's happening in real time with consumers. And if you also have Stat Surveys, you also know what are people buying in the market as well.
So how when you say real time, how real time are we talking about? Because I'm thinking, like Jeff said, the Automotive Show comes up at the end of January. So if I'm a big RV dealer in Houston, because you can't buy a car at the Automotive Show, you can look at them, you can set it up and all that, but you can buy a boat and you can buy an RV if you want. So if I'm that RV dealer and I'm going, can I come to you and pull data so I can decide what inventory I want to take? Is it
Absolutely.
that real?
Yes, absolutely. Because, with with the on our marketplace, on RV Trader or Cycle Trader or Boat Mart, people are looking at stuff right now. So we get a stream of everything that's happening in real time, right? When someone asks for it, we don't want to give them, minute by minute, because it's not very useful. We want to aggregate that, put it in some sort of like, this is what's happening in a week, in a month, in a quarter, a year.
30 days, 40.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So that's absolutely something that we can provide our customers in terms of, hey, what do you want to take over to the show? What's actually resonating with consumers right now? And that way they're not taking a whole bunch of stuff that they don't need.
Or they can't sell.
Or they can't sell. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing with the internet now, and this is very relevant to automotive. People are doing a lot of their research before they come to those shows. They're coming to the shows pretty much to pull the trigger on things, right?
Yeah, put your hands on it, so you got a feel for it. You know what you're looking for.
Exactly. So the type of research people are doing is also very different. So making sure that you have a stock of what people are looking for is extremely important as well.
So as a consumer, do I have to pay you to access your information?
Well, on the stats survey side, we're only available for like businesses, like I was saying, banks or
B2Bs.
dealers or manufacturers. Now, on the marketplace side, consumers can go in there like a dealer and sell their units, right? If they want to sell an RV, if they want to sell a boat, if they want to sell a motorcycle, an ATV, whatever it is, there is an opportunity for them to push their their unit that they don't want anymore to other dealers or other private citizens to purchase as well.
So does that transaction become part of your data that you're watching for a certain area?
We don't get any of the private information. We only get the dealer information. Okay. So if the dealer sells it to a private citizen such as myself, that's all registered in the DMVs, and that information we do get access to.
Interesting.
Does the information that you supply to the dealers, let's say, for instance, that the boat was in an accident and it got repaired, do you happen to make note of that?
Yeah, it's funny that you're saying that. We actually are starting to put that information on our website. It's kind of like Carfax, where we have a different version of it. Mm-hmm. That's actually being applied to each of the listings on the marine side. We're looking to open that up for other areas that we also do business with.
Interesting. So,
yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Well, I'm just kind of wondering, I'm envisioning the RVs, the motorcycles, the jet skis, cars, all that stuff. Do you get into other areas, or is it kind of based on the fact that you can get your information from a DMV or a database type thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the DMV information is just very base information, right? I know where something was registered. I know when. I know what it is, but it's very basic. So we kind of get that basic information and we supplement it with all sorts of other sources. We got information directly from the manufacturers. We get it from dealers. We get it from banks. So we compile all that and kind of give a really rounded view of what's happening in the market. So it's just not one source that we're depending on. We are actually gathering it from many different bits of information to kind of get a good view.
So could a company, let's say In Wheel Time, that was interested in knowing who is selling cars, where's the hot cars in the Houston market area, could somebody like us come to you and say, hey, we want these zip codes or this market area of Houston, we want to know like who's selling the most cars or the top 3 cars?
Yeah, so obviously we don't do cars, but if you want to know for RVs, we can definitely tell you who are the top selling dealers in Houston. And because we're collecting and know who is selling that, we also know what they're selling. And because we've been in business for decades, since the 60s, we have data, on the RV side for the last two to 3 decades in terms of who's selling what and when and how and stuff like that.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's great to talk to you. We sure appreciate you taking the time to explain all that to us.
Yeah.
All of us car freaks wonder about that sometimes. We're going, well, let's see. There is this little travel trailer I've been looking at. So you would have that information, and probably your dealer would also have that information.
Yeah, absolutely. And we try to tell dealers to use it as much as they can, go in with all eyes open and make a decision that's based on data.
Well, hunting season's coming up down here in Texas, and we're kind of looking for a little 2-man travel trailer so we could take the wife out there in the hill country.
Yeah, up to the deer camp.
2-man.
2-man, yeah. Well, there's that. But Shannon, thank you. We appreciate your time, man.
Thanks, folks. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.
That was very interesting. Thank you very much.
Yep. All right. Well, just ahead, Jeff has the racing calendar. And Mr. Mars has This Week in Auto History. And I'm going to bring you some of the stories making automotive news headlines this week. And we got some goodies for you. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is back in a flash.
You've waited all summer, and it's finally here. The Tailpipes and Tacos Fall 25 Cruise-In Car Show. It's been a while, but the popular Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In returns to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, Saturday, October 18th. Make any donation to Shirley's Kids and get a free breakfast taco. There'll be mimosas and Bloody Marys, too. Get to the best cruise-in of the year. Tailpipes and Tacos Car Show, Saturday, October 18th, 8 to 11 a.m. Cruise in, make a donation of any amount, and grab a free Lupi Tortilla breakfast taco. Tailpipes and Tacos only happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 703 West Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of the Katy Freeway. Join the car camaraderie, and your car will automatically compete for one of 3 Chili Pepper trophies at no charge. Fall is here, and what better way to celebrate than with a free taco at Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Car Show, Saturday, October 18th, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the cruise-in you won't want to miss. Lupi Tortillas, Tailpipes and Tacos in Katy.
Time to fire up those engines and pay tribute to the folks who make freedom possible. Bastrop's own Heroes in Hot Rods is rolling in for Veterans Day weekend. Friday night, downtown cruise. Saturday, 400 of the coolest rides in Texas. Proceeds help veterans, shelters, food pantries, and scholarships. Sponsored by Craig's Jewelry. November 7th and 8th, Main Street, Bastrop. Don't miss it.
I think one of the things that we miss in that is not only the commercial itself, but we miss the music. Have you listened to the music behind it?
Yeah. Music's good.
Yeah. The little picking and grinning.
Yeah, a little Cajun stuff going on. I've got a hankering for Popeyes now.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Red beans and rice. Oh, yeah.
Do you eat Popeyes?
I do.
Do you?
Actually, I do. I like red beans and rice.
And where do you go?
Popeyes.
Where?
House.
By your house? There's a Popeyes by the house. Well, I just check it.
Yeah,
What do you
ours
like?
closed down.
What? Pardon me?
Ours closed down. It's all boarded up over here now.
Have you checked your phone messages in the past half hour, Mr. Mars? Apparently not. Okay, well, I'll let you deal with that. Hey, In Wheel Time invites you to join our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central on InWheelTime.com, Facebook, and YouTube. We hope you check us out. If you miss us, you'll be able to connect with us through your favorite podcast channel. Hey, a couple things I wanted to point out. Tailpipes and Tacos is next weekend. We had a prior commitment with the Spring Branch High School Foundation, and so we're going to be going there. But I wanted to remind everybody that's listening out in the Katy area, Tailpipes and Tacos at the Katy Lupi Tortilla, and we hope that you will
Attend.
Yes, 8 to 11 next Saturday there. And you hear the spot for the Spring Branch Foundation.
Right.
So that's going to be, we'll be on the air 10 to noon out there. All right. Just wanted to make sure that everybody was on board.
Understood.
Time now for the racing calendar by Jeff Zekin, sponsored by Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge.
Thank you for that. We've got IMSA. Last day today is the Petite Le Mans in Atlanta. It's going to be on Peacock at noon today, Eastern, 11 o'clock Central. So it's going to be on here in just a few minutes on NBC. And then you've got sled dog racing coming up in December. We're going to do that.
Are the dash hounds involved in that?
No dash hounds. They're a little too short. They're little tiny legs.
Okay.
And you got mushers in March of next year. Formula One is going to be on the 19th, which is next Sunday. I think they're going to be wrapping up their season here in about another few months. Yeah, this is a long season. NHRA is this weekend. They're at Texas Motorplex. good luck up there to everyone. Craftsman Truck, they're off. They're going to be back next week at Talladega, I believe on Friday.
I cannot imagine a truck doing 200 miles an hour.
Well, yeah. And then,
Talladega. Talladega is 2 1/3 miles long.
is it the third? I thought it was 2.6.
Maybe it's 2 2/3.
Okay.
It's long.
It's
Listen, you got to get the binoculars out. You're sitting in the grandstands to see them in the backstretch.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
how
they
far.
got room to get wound up too. That's why they're doing all that speed.
And then Xfinity is today at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And then you got the Cup Boys is tomorrow, again, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So good luck to everybody out there. And wear your helmet, put your seatbelt on.
Yeah. Yeah, because, NHRA in Las Vegas is always the Halloween event.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after that event in Las Vegas, then they go to SEMA. But Halloween in Las Vegas is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I saw a thing on the internet yesterday that the couple that decorated their house for Halloween had to call the fire department.
Oh, well, yeah.
Did you see that with the windows?
That was on earlier in the week. And actually, the fire department uses that house for training.
Yeah.
And they use it for people to check their
But you
smoke
drive
alarms
by and you look at it, the fire is intense, what it looks like inside the house.
It's all lighting.
It's all lighting and done in the windows.
And they have smoke that billows from the rafters to make it look like it's on fire. And they interviewed the police chief. He says, yeah, it's unique. It's a little scary to look at.
Yeah.
It serves a purpose for training.
Yeah, interesting.
Mhm.
Mr. Mars,
Yes, sir.
this week in auto history, sir.
We found quite a few things in this week in auto history that were rather interesting. For example, in 1901, the very first Detroit Auto Show opened with 2 electric and 2 steam-powered cars. Now, that kind of gives you an idea how long we've been jacking around with electric cars and still haven't figured it out. Now, William Metzger was the only automobile dealer in Detroit at the time. And so he was an organizer of this big event. It was held at the Light Guard Armory, and it stayed there until 1907 when the newly formed Detroit Automobile Dealers Association held their own show. Now, this was in 1907, and that first event took place at the Beer Garden near the Belle Isle Bridge. So that kind of tells you where that headed. Then 1913, Ford introduces the moving assembly line at their Highland Park plant. Now, this is the first moving assembly line. They put it in operation, and it revolutionized drastically the production time for the Model T. It took 12 hours prior, and they got it down to just 93 minutes to build this car. And that's one of the reasons they could build so many of them, and they actually got it so cheap and put so many of them out there into the market. 1919, General Motors actually acquired Chevrolet. Now, this is kind of a weird deal because originally Chevrolet was founded by Louis Chevrolet and the GM founder, William C. Durant, because Durant got kicked out of GM because he tried to buy
Killed out.
Yeah, got kicked out of GM because he was trying to buy Ford, overextended the company. They almost went bankrupt, so they fired him. So he went over and helped form Chevrolet, which in turn started buying a bunch of other companies. And anyway, he ended up getting back into GM as the leader of the GM, and that's where kind of moved Chevrolet into becoming the most popular and profitable brand that GM had for several decades. Then in 1926, the first U.S. highway numbering system approved because they had all these auto trails, so they had created all these little road associations, and you couldn't figure out how to get any place. So they did this, and this is kind of what it looked like when they started doing it, and they standardized it with the Joint Board on Interstate Highways actually coming around and making everything, and became the American Association of State Highway Officials, acronym AASHO. I'll let you say that, Don. And they they got the numbering systems they rationalized and standardized. Now, the way it worked, in case you didn't know, numbers such as U.S. Highway 1 and U.S. 66, that's how they simplified it down to where they were going north and south, etc. Yeah. Then in 1945, post-war auto production resumes in the United States because they had slowed this during the war effort because everybody had to make tanks and cannons and all the good things that you need for armies. And so they resumed the civilian production in October of 1945. Now, brands like Ford, Chevrolet, and Chrysler actually saw record sales and reshaped the U.S. economy during this time because all the pent-up demand for cars, because they couldn't get them, plus the people that are returning from the war effort really wanted to buy cars, so they really sold a lot of cars. 1973, the OPEC oil embargo begins. I know there's a lot of people out there that they weren't here, they didn't understand what was going on there, and I did not understand that this global energy crisis was caused because the Arab petroleum exporting countries decided they were going to embargo everybody in the world that helped Israel during one of their little short wars, and so that's what they did. But what that in turn did changed consumers. That's where we started buying smaller, more efficient cars, and got us into the 1970s automotive landscape where all the horsepower went away, killed the muscle cars, and just changed everything and started us down the path we're in now. 1998, Mercedes-Benz and Swatch launched the Smart Car. I always loved the name of the Smart Car. It was a little two-seater. It was designed for urban mobility, very compact, fully fuel efficient, very niche vehicle. And I remember when they brought them into Austin. I drove one of them actually, and they thought, oh, the college kids are going to rent them and take care of them and all that stuff. But in Texas, it doesn't work. It's just too far. You got to drive 20 miles to get any place. The car wouldn't go over 50 miles an hour, or at least that one that year wouldn't. So that was kind of they moved it on out, took it away. So then in 2013, Tesla launched their supercharger expansion, and this is where it really started getting, where electric vehicle infrastructure started coming out. And they extended the routes across America. This is the way it looked. It helped with the EV adoption and pressured competitors. Everybody else that was trying to build their cars and build their EV cars, they had to have a way to charge them so that they could go further. So now we're kind of working around. Hopefully one of these days we're going to standardize on something that all the EVs can handle and all the EVs can do, and that'll help the market a whole lot. But until then, that's just some of the things that were this week in automotive history.
All right. Thank you, sir. Got a couple of stories I want to get in here. A fire at a New York aluminum plant that is expected to affect production of Ford Motor Company's F-150 truck for months will sap up to $1 billion from the automaker's earnings, according to Evercore ISI analysts, whoever they are. This story from Automotive News. Meanwhile, Ford is pausing production next week of the F-150 Lightning electric pickup in Dearborn because of the aluminum plant fire, according to a union official.
Wow.
Memo shared with workers at the plant, viewed by Reuters. They said the Rouge Electric Vehicle Center will be off next week. Ford began using mainly aluminum-bodied vehicles on its F-150 truck in 2014 to reduce the weight of the vehicle. And bankrupt subprime auto lender Tricolor Holdings appears to have been a pervasive fraud of extraordinary proportion, according to a lawyer helping oversee its liquidation. They said that October 3rd, underscoring the scale of the company's alleged misconduct, even as investigators continue to unravel its finances. Initial reports indicate potentially systemic levels of fraud, according to a presentation made in court by Charles R. Gibbs, who is representing the court-appointed trustee. While Gibbs didn't elaborate on the nature of the fraud, a preliminary examination of Tricolor's record shows that at least 29,000 loans pledged to creditors were tied to vehicles already securing other debts, according to Bloomberg. Roughly 40% out of some 70,000 active Tricolor loans, which were used as collateral for bank warehouse lines and asset-backed scrutinizations, whatever that is, contained attributes identical to those of at least one other loan, including vehicle identification numbers, according to people involved in the probe who asked not to be identified. It's a big mess, and I bring that story up because Tricolor is located here in Houston.
Several locations.
Great. Way to go.
Yeah.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. We are back right after this quick break.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. Rev up your engines. It's time to roll back in style at the Back to the Past Car Show. Join the Spring Branch Senior High School Foundation Saturday, October 18th at Cornerstone Academy, 9016 Westview Drive in Houston. Classic cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Family fun, food, music, and memories. There's something for everyone. Proceeds benefit local students and programs. Don't miss the shine, the chrome, and the nostalgia. 10 to 2, Saturday, October 18th, Back to the Past Car Show. SpringBranchBears.com/car show for more information. And Will Time will be there too. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.